Well, as the weekend is coming to a close, that doesn't mean we end here. But for today's episode, we're going to be reviewing uh, GCW with Fight Club Night 1 that took place on October 2nd. This is part of the Art of War Games, which of course features the guys from Japan Freedoms taking on GCW. That's going to be an epic match. We also have the world title on the line. Blake Christians takes on You're Messing with a Different Boy. We're talking about Jimmy Lloyd. And of course, we move on with Wrestling Revolver with um, Revolver Women's Grand Prix. This is the first ever full show with all women's wrestling involved, and they're competing in a tournament. But we do have some non-tournament matches taking place as well. And of course, we do have a couple of news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Gerard here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of reviews of pro wrestling, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where wrestling is not big, but it is growing. And of course, we do some news updates, the news updates, alerts, discussions, and all this other cool stuff. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us on the subscribe button. Or if you like this episode, give us a like on the like button or give us a nice comment down below. Now, let's begin with our very first review. This is from GCW Game Changer Fight Club Night 1. This took place recently on the 7th of October. Our opening match, we have Alec Price taking on the biggest a-hole on the planet, Tony Deppen. Now, those who are familiar with Tony Deppen, the guy, he likes to cheat his way through, claiming he is the best technical wrestler, but he will cut corners in order to ensure to prove otherwise. But Alec Price, who's been very impressive in his GCW career and possibly outside of GCW, I have to say he is very impressive. However, it was Alec Price with that price kick that he normally does, puts him away once and for all. 1, 2, 3, excellent win by Alec Price. Our next win is a four-way match. We have Jack Cartwheel, Jordan Oliver, Joey Janela, and Masha Slimers. Now, this was going to be a crazy match. Now, Joey Janela would treat this as a warm-up since he will be heading to Japan real soon to take on none other than Japanese deathmatch legend Jun Kasai. So you probably can guess that was going to be the main answer. But however, it was very impressive in this particular match. Wasn't too sure exactly who was going to win, but I felt like it's either going to be Joey Janela or Masha. But in the end, it was Joey Janela with the diving foot stomp onto Jack Cartwheel to pick up the win, and he sent a direct message to Jun Kasai. Our next match is a bit of a rematch from the Crush Up show. Now, if you guys remember what happened, Richard Holiday made his debut not too long ago with GCW. However, he was interrupted by none other than Charles Mason, who seems like he thought he can get him on his side. However, Holiday was not feeling it, but of course he did beat him. However, Charles Mason was not too happy with the way things resulted and not in his favor. He apparently sent his big guy Pero to do his dirty work. However, he gets a rematch, but he doesn't come alone. He does have, of course, Pero by his side. The match seems like it was okay, but however, we should have known when it comes to that despicable prick, Charles Mason, he always have a way to pay off the referee to make the counts faster. And of course, that worked. This prick of a referee actually cost Holiday the match. I wouldn't be surprised if Holiday sees him, he beats the crap out of him for what happened with Charles Mason. Of course, he's going to apologize, but apology doesn't change nothing. But once again, Holiday got screwed, and of course, Mason got away with it once and for all. And of course, the referee, well, he did get his money, but they took it back. We'll see what happens with Holiday. I hope he gets his revenge on Mason for that. Our next match, we have a bit of a 10-man tag team match. Team number 1, we have Dylan McKay, Marcus Mathers of Wasted Youth, Brandon Toon, Cole Raderick, and Shane Mercer. Just a bunch of guys, that's what they call themselves. They take on SG Super Cunt, consistent of Ali Catch, Effie, Sawyer Wreck, and of course members of the Seeking Year crew, Manders and Warner. So you probably can guess this was going to be a crazy mayhem match. Well, I have to say it was. But however, Warner had everything under control, but it was Effie who picked up the win when he applied the Zack Ryder onto Dylan McKay to pick up the win. Now, there was a moment where you can see, man, seems like he's not happy with the result, but however, it was more like, okay, we did one, but it should have been me to finish the match. But yeah, that's how it rolls up. Now our next match, we have the GCW World title. Jimmy Lloyd, who is the challenger, take on the prick himself, Blake Christian. Now, everybody were hoping that Jimmy Lloyd finally gets his opportunity, and hopefully they pray that he will be the one to, in fact, dethrone Blake Christian. However, it seems like things could have gone that way, but out of nowhere, someone put on Matt Cardona's theme song. The obvious question is, was this a mind game by Blake Christian to ensure that he never loses the title? Well, it might be a possibility because he did apply the stomp on him, and then of course winning the title. Being the biggest prick that he is, he got away with it once again. But sooner or later, someone is going to dethrone him. Now, our next match is the War Games. Now, GCW versus Freedom. So that's always been real great. We've seen these two companies collaborate a lot, recent time this year. But it's great that they get to do this. Let me pull up. Now, I have to say, we do. Here's who we have. Hold on, let me pull it up real quick. Here it is. Okay, so here's who represents Freedoms. We have Jun Kasai, Masashi Takeda, Takeshi Sasaki, Toru Segura, and Violento Jack. And then, of course, for GCW, we got Ciclopse, John Wayne Murdoch, Miedo Extremo, Nick Gage, and Rina Yamashita. So those are the people involved in the match. However, this is how the elimination happened, little by little. Violento Jack eliminates John Wayne Murdoch, and then Ciclopse eliminates Takeshi Sasaki. Then Violento Jack and Ciclopse eliminate themselves, since they do have a bit of a history, so that's very obvious to me. Masashi Takeda eliminates Medio Extremo. Rina Yamashita eliminates Toru Sugiura. Then Jun Kasai eliminates Yamashita. Nate Gage got rid of Takeda. And then finally it was the two legends themselves, Gage and Jun Kasai. You probably would say, holy shit, when you see it. Well, holy shit is right, because it was Nick Gage who walked out with the pinfall. And I'm sure this is not, these two will come across each other in the future. Don't forget, GCW will be heading to Japan after these shows. So, I can't wait to see those. So GCW walked away with the win. So we'll see what happens in their Japanese trip. So I think that's pretty much it with GCW. It's time for Wrestling Revolver. Okay, Wrestling Revolver. Now this is the first show of two shows. Now I will not be able to see Revolver Redemption until the next episode. However, this particular show is very special because it has an entire show full of women. So I think this is a good one for everybody to enjoy. This is the Revolver Women's Grand Prix. So we already have 8 competitors competing in the tournament. We do have 2 non-tournament matches that are involved in here. So let's take a look at everything. Now we opened up with the first round matches of the Grand Prix. We match number 1. We have Janai Kai versus Marina Shafir. Now I thought this match was going to be interesting because, of course, Janai Kai does have a background in martial arts, as for Marina Shafir, MMA. So I thought it was a good combination. So I wasn't too sure exactly how this was going to go, but it was Marina Shafir with a submission move on Janai Kai. But however, Janai Kai did not quit. The referee had no other choice but to call it. So the match went to Marina Shafir. Second match, we have Trish Adora versus Emi Sakura. Pretty interesting match. However, you probably would have thought it was Emi Sakura was going to walk away with it. But nope, it was Trish Adora with the big lariat, because as soon as that lariat was hit, Emi Sakura was out sleeping, that sort of thing. Next up, we have Vert Vixen taking on Allison Kay. Pretty good match, I have to say. Vert Vixen has been really, really making a name for herself everywhere she's go. So I was very impressed until sooner we saw that Vert Vixen was about to apply the Brainbuster on Allison Kay, and blammo! Just like that, she wins. So she goes into the next round. Our next match in the tournament, we have Rachel Armstrong taking on Space Jesus Billy Starks. Now, I have to say, in my honest opinion, Billy Starks was probably the fan favorite in this tournament. I mean, people love Billy Starks for what she does. So I was pretty much curious about this one, but it was Billy Starks with a swanton bomb that put away Rachel Armstrong and proceed into the next round. So the winners from the first round is Marina Shafir, Trish Adora, Vert Vixen, and Billy Starks. They'll be heading into the semi-final round. So we'll see how that rolls. Now let's jump into the non-tournament matches. We have Zoe Sky and Jamie Senegal. Not too much pump on this one. I mean, I am familiarized with both these ladies, but very impressive. But it was Zoe Sky that picked up the win by pinfall, just like that. Now our next match is the semi-finals of the Women's Grand Prix tournament. In that match number 1, we have Marina Shafir versus Vert Vixen. Pretty good match, I have to say. Vert Vixen really threw in everything, but however, Marina Shafir with an armbar was the real factor that put away Vert Vixen in order to proceed now into the finals. Next up, we have Trish Adora taking on Space Jesus Billy Starks. I have to say, awesome match as well. Now, I have to say these two women are two of those that, in my opinion, are the ones that we should be keeping an eye on this tournament. But in the end, it was Billy Starks with the pile driver that put away Trish Adora and put her in the finals. Now, our next match, we have a very interesting women's tag match. We have the Killer Death Machines, consistent of It's Gonna Be Sick, Jessica and Nevaeh, taking on a very interesting makeshift team that was put together. We're talking about Jordan Grace and Killer Kelly. Now, I know what you're always going to say. Makeshift teams are normally the ones that loses. But in this case, I have to say Jordan Grace and Killer Kelly did an amazing job picking up the win. I have to say, I did not anticipate that. But it was, of course, the killer clutch by Killer Kelly to put away Nevaeh in the win. However, something interesting happened in the post-match. Apparently, Nevaeh's daughter decided to take revenge on both Killer Death Machines on her own. A little girl just stepped in the ring and took them out. I'm like, holy cow, that's pretty sick. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a second generation wrestler in that family. So that's going to be fun. Now, our next and final match, our main event, is the finals of the Women's Grand Prix tournament. We have Marina Shafir versus Billy Starks. Now, this is going to be interesting. Now, keep in mind, Billy Starks, I'm sure she is well aware that she's not facing a slouch, that she's facing a submission specialist. That is something that she should be aware of. I mean, that is an X factor that Billy should take likely. But however, when you thought the Marina Shafir had everything under her control. Well, Billy Starks was able to reverse the chokehold into a pinfall. 1, 2, 3 over. She is the first ever winner of the Women's Grand Tournament. I have to say, I was satisfied with Billy Starks winning. Now, very interesting thing that everybody should know. Um, I feel this was a good, successful show. I say they should make this annually. What do you guys think? You think Wrestling Revolver should a make this an annual show for them, but also do more shows involving women? I say, why the effing not? Because that's something we definitely could need more often. So I can't wait to see what happens until then. But right now, I think we're done with our reviews. Let's move on with, of course, um, news updates. Alright, so welcome to our news update. So this is what we have for all of you. Now, in a recent episode, what I did, I reported that Yulisa Leon, who just was recently from WWE, the Mexican promotion Chaos Lucha Libre, has announced that she'll be making her debut. However, this Twitter page called Lucha Blog actually revealed something interesting. It turns out that Chaos has not had any shows running since July 2nd. Now, we don't know why this was announced, but the ball is in their court at this moment. So we don't know why they announced, if what this guy said is true, that Chaos has not put on a show since then. So we will see what their move is. I think that's something we got to pay attention very, very closely. So we'll see. Now, interesting developments has taken place with All Japan Pro Wrestling. They announced the debut of Kimitoshi Ogata, who's debuting as a referee. Now, I know some of you are saying there's nothing significant about this ref. Well, it turns out that this guy, Ogata, is the grandnephew of the late and founding father of All Japan Pro Wrestling and Makoto Baba. We're talking about Giant Baba. So yes, so Ogata is the grandnephew of Giant Baba. So I have to say, I was a bit of surprise. Now, some of you may ask, did Giant Baba ever have any children? No, Giant Baba never had any children. He was concerned over the fact that his children will inherit his trait. As you know, Giant Baba, living up to his name, is a giant. So he was concerned over that. So he and his wife Makoto never had any children. But hearing that his grandnephew is now involved in the company that he started is a great thing. So he had something to say. Let me pull it up here real quick. Here it is. This is what he says. My name is Kimitoshi Ogata, and I have made my refereeing debut. I am grateful for the opportunity I have been given and will continue to work hard. So yeah, so basically this is going to be interesting. I can't wait to see what he can do as a referee. Now finally, our last update. This one's a very interesting one that kind of got to me. As you know, I'm a big fan of Kenoh from New Pro Wrestling Noah. Now probably some of you may ask me, those who are new to the channel, saying, what's so special about Kenoh? Kenoh plays a very interesting character where he's a bit of a badass who tells people to stay out of his way or they'll get an ass beating, that sort of thing. Kenoh once in a while is not afraid to give his honest opinion when it comes to pro wrestling about certain products he doesn't like, including when he's off character. He likes to do something fun. However, there was one about that was brought into a question. Someone did this. This was on his YouTube channel. Someone asked him this: Have you ever dated a Yoshi wrestler? He responds, no. So have you had slept with a woman wrestler without dating? No. Okay, Kenoh, if you had, would you be able to tell us? Absolutely not. I really don't have that experience. Wow. I just never imagined Kenoh, he's never been on dates. So, I mean, he plays a badass character, but I'm sure some of his friends who are girls will help him out with that. I'm sure of that. I mean, he's not afraid to talk with them, but go on a date, that's a different story. I mean, I never imagined that with him, but it is what it is. So I think that's pretty much it for our news updates. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode coming up. As you know, we do have Stardom with the much recent show taking place. That and of course New Japan and Ryogoku for Destruction are two of the top priorities. However, I do have, of course, the latest Bleach show coming up, and of course, I'll be reviewing the much recent GCW Night 2 of Fight Club. I haven't decided if there's anything else. I do know Tokyo Pro Wrestling with Wrestle Princess 4 will be taking place. If I have to, I'll probably review all of them. But however, due to the fact of my schedule work, I may have to work early in the morning for that. But I haven't decided how that's going to proceed. But we will see. I'll leave everything up to how it goes from here on out. But we'll see what happens, so let's just let fate decide on how the next episode will be. But for now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.